massive changes have happened to our banking system. You used to go into the bank, and people can just do this and see if what I'm saying is true. You can go into the bank right now, and what you can do a month ago or 2 months ago in a bank, you can't do it in terms of how long it takes for your deposits to clear, in terms of how much cash you can walk out with. And that's
That's
because the
right.
whole banking system has changed, and most people don't know it. The wealthy are getting wealthier, and every billionaire, this is a fact, every billionaire during the pandemic doubled their income while everybody else was happy about stimulus checks.
On the show today, Dr. Lonnie McCowan, my brother, who is a pastor, author, prophet, businessman, entrepreneur, founder, and senior pastor of the Miracle Center in Ventura, California. He is recognized for his cutting edge revelation and down to earth, simple approach to teaching the Word of God. And over the years, I've witnessed this firsthand. He has empowered thousands to experience God's grace, restoration, healing, as well as financial breakthrough. Pastor Lonnie is a proven, tested, experienced, battle ready leader who I am proud to say is a friend. Welcome, my brother.
Oh man, it's great to be here. I mean, absolutely a absolute blessing for me to be with you. And I want to co-sign with you. You're so true and right about how you really want to help people. I've seen that, man, for years with your life. Your passion is just, it's infectious. So thank you for being a gift to the body of Christ.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I tell you, it's been a journey. You know, you and I, we've known each other now for a little over 2 decades. And I always say, if a person doesn't know what a decade is, it's okay. But we're looking like we're younger than 40, so we're doing okay.
That's right. That's right.
So, I know who you are, and of course, you know, uh, we have a special relationship with your wonderful, wonderful, super anointed wife, and Dr. Micheline and I, and we just the four of us. We've had a great relationship, a great journey. But share with the audience who you are, who is. Although I introduced you. Who is Lonnie McCown?
Well, I just, a simple form of this. I'm really, I guess, if there's a term, changeologist, or 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 a transformationologist. My assignment, really, I'll tell you, is to tell the Pharaoh of financial bondage to let God's people go. And I
Mm.
guess at just the bare level, I would, that's what I would say I am. I When I come on the scene, it's been said, one of the things that's agitated is the comfort level of where a person is. I bring change in, is what I do.
Praise God. Changeologist. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I don't
I'm
even
like,
know if that's a word, man, but I love it. Yeah, I need to put that down on my cards.
hey, yeah. Well, you wrote a book some years ago. Matter of fact, one of the first books that I read from you, which was Transformation,
Yeah,
and transformation of the mind. You
yeah,
know, uh, teaching people how to metamorphose and become the great version of themselves that God created them to be, which was a very powerful book. And it actually inspired me to my actual um, doctrine was my dissertation, shall I say, was based on extreme makeover of the mind. And so
wow,
those were two things that we had in common that I was
wow.
like, okay, we're definitely like-minded. And I mean, you're an anointed, and I'm not saying this just because we're friends. I mean, you're an anointed teacher, and of not just the Bible, but practical principles for everyday living for people. And I so appreciate that about you. Based on everything that's going on, and I love, as you said, in terms of that, uh, to kind of address the pharaohs in people's lives, based on everything that's going on in the world, uh, and today's economy. What would you say is people's greatest challenge right now, economically?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of change, and unfortunately, most people are asleep. We enter this hypnotic state by the time we get 5 years old until most people die, unless something very tragic happens or something so inspiring that shifts people. If they don't just renew their mind through scriptures and they just stay in this stuck state and they don't even know what's going on. For an example, during the pandemic, while everybody was focusing on that, and there's a lot of pros and cons behind all that, but while people focused on that, the real deal that was going on is our economic system was changing, the banking system changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Even as I'm speaking now, most people know by now that, and I've been telling our church this when the pandemic first happened, that this is really someone throwing a stick in this bush while they make some changes over here. Massive changes have happened to our banking system. You used to go into the bank, and people can just do this and see if what I'm saying is true. You can go into the bank right now, and what you can do a month ago or 2 months ago in a bank, you can't do it in terms of how long it takes for your deposits to clear, in terms of how much cash you can walk out with. And that's because
right.
the whole banking system has changed, and most people don't know it. The wealthy are getting wealthier, and every billionaire, this is a fact, every billionaire during the pandemic doubled their income, while everybody else was happy about stimulus checks. But this is the diversion, and it happens all the time. And unfortunately, Pastor McFarland, so America, United States, it's a great place, man. I love this country, but as great as it is, and for years we have been sort of the heartbeat for the world. A lot of things pivoted on America. The unfortunate thing, because things have shifted so much and have changed, and they do this about every 99 years with great powers, great countries, they shift. Actually, we've gone longer than what most countries do in terms of the shift of powers where another country takes over. I said all that to say this, that because of the shift and the change of what's going on, our country, as good as it is, it has a lot of flaws in it. One, in the economic system, you have the wealthy, you have the middle class, and you have the poor.
Yes.
And even though that seems bad, if it changes in the system that we know today, it will mess everything up, and the whole world would see massive confusion. We would have massive confusion here if everybody became wealthy. Let's say, for example, like we have billionaires. There's enough billionaires to make everybody in the United States a multimillionaire overnight.
Wow.
But if that happened, the mass confusion, in fact, the bottom would fall out. First of all, who's going to take care of the streets? Who's going to do the
right?
Who's going to be the police? Who's going to be the doctors? I want to tell you, no one.
Right.
So the system it's messed up, but you can't fix it. And you've got to understand this. If people don't get this, they're going to scream in the wrong direction, because you cannot change this system. It has to stay quiet. So what happens, Pastor McFarland, every now and then, the middle class tries to climb to the top. And when it happens, this system shakes so they can fall back down. Why? Because if you get too many to the top, it messes the system up. It has to stay this way. If you look at places like Russia, you can look at what happened in Mexico, Uganda, all of these places. they used to have the tier levels the way we have it. The moment it changes and you have all rich, either you're going to have super rich and poor. When that middle class leaves, chaos. So we can't change it. So I believe what we have to do is learn how to get in that system and use that system for kingdom.
Yes.
And that's sort of what I've been trying to, what I've been advocating to our folks for years.
Yeah. Um, yeah. What's your thoughts about, as we're kingdom people, and we teach kingdom principles, and it's been kind of tough to get people to understand the importance of them embracing God's system, a kingdom system within this system, um, in order to um, position yourself, to position ourselves to win in a different way. And so when you say this system, to learn how to use this system, what does that look like? How do we set ourselves up to, be in a position to not be at the bottom in some respects? And again, it's not all about, money, that sort of thing, but just not to get, lost in translation, so to speak, for things to get lost in translation.
Yeah, right. No, I understand what you're saying. So, Jesus made a statement once that we need to be like those in this world. And what he was talking about is when it comes to how they do certain transactions, how they do their system in terms of operating. So, our system, most people don't know this here in America, our system is designed in a way to keep the divide that I mentioned a few moments ago, to keep it in place. So everything from our educational system, our banking system, our political system, and unfortunately even the religious system, not under the kingdom mentality, but under America. All of it is designed to keep in place this American system, whatever you may call that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think it's important for us to educate, equip, and empower people in the kingdom to understand the real value that's at stake. For an example, we have, in my opinion, I've said this for a long time, we have people with the greatest hearts ever in our churches. The problem is we have these holy hands in empty pockets. And unfortunately, we don't realize that the satanic undercurrents for years, since we've known the church, when I say we, meaning if you study back in history, when the Catholic Church dominated, all of these systems in terms of economics way back there was designed for one thing, and that's to keep this divide.
That's
And
right.
so the satanic forces that motivate this, the reason they really fight when we talk in the kingdom about economics is because you can pray, you can build, you can have revivals, you can have every kind of meeting you want to have.
Yeah.
But until you deal with the economic structure, you are not affecting real damage into the dark kingdom. One of the reasons Jesus was crucified, one of them, we know the prophetic reason was he paid for our sins. But that's not why the Jews crucify him. And the leaders, the Roman leaders, they crucify him because Jesus interrupted their economic system. The moment he did that, whether it was throwing kicking people out of the temple from bartering with the money, or whether it was him telling people just because you weren't born on this side of the track doesn't mean you're less than. He made the playing field equal, and they couldn't deal with that. That's really, they didn't really care about him healing blind people. I mean, they dealt with that, but that wasn't really the issue. They didn't, if you really look at this, and it took me a long time to see this, but I went back, Pastor Anthony, and it blew me away. When they started talking about killing Jesus, it's when he dealt with their economics. Now that's huge, man, because that's when we become a threat. And I believe a day's coming in our churches and I'm believing and praying that we're part of this. But I believe a day is coming where the economic system is so understood in our churches that we completely have a system that's self-sustained in
Yeah.
our churches, to the point that when we want to do things, we don't have to go and say, let's
Right.
pray over this
Right.
building so they can
We
stop.
have our own infrastructure.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or we'll take a check down there and buy it and change
Right.
it.
Yes.
So I think it's huge, man. And I think it's it's going may take a whole nother generation, but in terms of educating them and getting people's mindsets to shift to kingdom, I think it's the only way to really see true transformation in terms of
Yeah.
kingdom coming out of a building into a community.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I so appreciate you explaining it the way that you did. You know, we see so many differences in literally every facet of society. You know,
Mhm.
there's culture shifts, there's you know, economic upheavals, which you're pointing out. You know, to political changes and so much more. And I agree with you. As believers, we believe it's imperative that, you know, we be prepared for the future and make the necessary changes that will secure us, secure our families,
Yeah,
secure the, you know, those within the kingdom of God, so to speak. And I believe that we not only, Dr. McCowan, need to be spiritually sound, as you're saying, and I just want to expound on this, or magnify, not expound, but magnify on it. We must also establish a firm economic foundation, a system, listen to me, where we don't need that system to uh, to um, to advance the kingdom of God, to
yeah,
make a difference in our families, in our community. Why? Because we have the blueprint. We are the answer to the world's problem, so to speak.
absolutely. 100% agree with you, man. And I think part of some of the stuff that you're doing and what I'm doing in terms of trying to renew people's mind to this, I think is part of the key and the things we should be doing. And the technology already exists. It's happening. Our Jewish brothers and sisters have learned this system in their community already. As we move it to the church in large, and as I said, there's already technology in place for all these things to happen. While we're speaking, the technology exists. A lot of communities are doing it. And I think it's just a matter of us, in my opinion, sort of coming out of the matrix that sort of brainwashes all and say, okay, let's take these bold steps. And it's not easy because once you've created these habits of doing things, it's just hard to get out of it. But I think we're getting close to it.
So yeah, I'm like totally there with understanding systems, world system, kingdom system, different systems. I mean, truth be told, you know, every culture has a system, every organization has a system. With that being said, um, let's talk a little bit about your background and what you built today as a successful leader and businessman, when it comes to the services that you're now providing people and families. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So we have something that we term KEEPS. It's just the Kingdom Economic Educational Program System. Speaking of systems, what we've done, Pastor Anthony, is we've put together a unique solution to part of the economic problems in the local church. As you know, the local churches generally are supported by its memberships, contributions.
Right,
If the members are hurting, then it's going to affect the church.
right,
And so that's going to affect the church's vision and program, what have we. So we've created a system that we can go into a church and, first of all, bring in the educational components through what we do all online. And it can equip the person to gain some financial literacy, because that's the key, that we got to get the mindsets to change. But while they're doing this, we have a true earn while you learn system. So if they will go into the program, they can do it at their home. They sign up through their church, they go into the program and they start learning. First thing they're going to do, we have the 5 basic courses, then we have our 5 freedom courses. And the first course they're going to deal with is they're going to get out of debt. If they're already out of debt, then they're going to go right to the next course. But the course is designed, the whole program is designed to walk them through with videos on how to go from wherever they are now to become financially independent. We deem in term financial independent as you don't need a paycheck from your job or the government or depend on your family. And we're able to do this.
Hold on. Say that again.
I know.
Financial independence as, say it again.
Yeah, financial independence as not needing a paycheck from your job.
Okay.
Or the government or your family.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
And the way we do this is really unique as people are learning. So we drip the learning, meaning as they learn, they truly earn, because we're going to pay them. To think about, you go to school and you get paid. It's unheard of. But through our system, the way we do the membership, we have a small membership fee that people pay to get the courses. And this is, I'm not talking about stuff that, they could just pick up anywhere. I'm talking about, like, for example, the debt program. They're going to get out of debt in record speed. After that, they're going to completely go into the second program, which is to clean their credit up. We're going to, we don't want a program doing this for them. We want them to learn this is how you have to do it. Because once they get this education,
gotcha,
now they can change their families for generation to generation.
It'll last them a lifetime and not a lunchtime.
I love that. I'm going to start using that. That's exactly right. So anyway, we take them through that, and then the programs graduate. Eventually, they'll have their family trust, their own family bank. We're going to make sure that just like the world system is set up, we're going to use that, but in a kingdom way. For an example, we're going to make sure that they have their financial situation secure or is sustainable within the system, but they're going to control it and not own it, yet it's theirs. For an example, we have one of the biggest things right now, I guess, going on here in the United States is this indictment or whatever's going on with the former president, Mr. Trump. So a lot of people don't understand this, but I understand it real well. It doesn't matter what the outcome is in terms of money. If you study it, people are saying, well, they're going to take all his money. They're going to do this. No, they're not going to take any of his money. And let me tell you why. Because he controls it. He doesn't own it. And one of the things that most people don't understand, but Mr. Trump said something when he was running for president, and he was in a debate. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama he wasn't there, but he used Barack Obama. He stated something that he said. And what Mr. Trump said was that they asked him about his bankruptcy. And they asked him, how are you able to do what you did and start over and you're still being here? Yeah. Then they asked him, how do you pay less money than you remember all that?
Right.
He said something that was so important. Most people miss this. He said, the system lets you do it.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
And let me tell you, most people miss it, but that, I'm telling you, man, is huge. And it was part of that is what led me to say, wait a minute, there's something we're missing. So in digging, he's right. And the system is set up. It's the coolest thing if you're on that side of the street. If you're not on that side of the street,
not on that side of the street,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the enemy's okay with us. I mean, no disrespect. I do this every week. The enemy's okay with us singing and dancing and quoting our scriptures. And I'm not discounting that. There's power in that.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, there's got to be more to this. Think about Joseph and Mary. Right. When the Lord spoke to Joseph and Mary when she was carrying Jesus to get out of where she was and go hide with the baby, there's no transportation provided, no money given to them. They had to figure that out themselves. They just got the word to go.
Right.
Think about it. Right. Outside of the miracles have happened, everything that God said do, outside the supernatural interventions, other than that, the people had to figure out how we're going to do it. So
Yeah.
I believe that we're at a place, man, where we have to start seeing this and use their system of the world, but
Yes.
use it for our kingdom.
And that's what helps level the playing field,
Yeah,
as Dr. Price said. What you don't know, you don't know.
that's right.
And that's the greatest challenge, especially within the Black and brown community or Christendom, and that is there's ignorance there. And
Yeah,
so until you're educated, that's why, I became a licensed financial educator the other year. Until you get the education, you're not going to be able to write a different storyline. You're
that's
not
right.
going to be able to, build a different future, because you're going to keep doing the same old thing that
Yeah,
you've been doing and that your parents and their parents did and have the same results. And so, it's information like this, programs like this, that levels the playing field. And that is for people to learn how the system works. Like we
yeah,
talk about the new rules of money, understanding how money works. Most
yeah,
people, they like money, but they don't understand how it works. But
yeah,
when you understand how it works, and then how to work it within the system and construct a system that works within the system that secures you and your family, now you're winning.
it's a
And
key.
it's the one brother, I heard him say, and I share this now as a part of my financial literacy campaign, and it's the hardest thing to get people to understand. And you already said it. And in essence, what you're saying with your program does is that it teaches you how to own nothing but control everything.
That's the key, man. That is the key. And everybody with any serious money, I'm telling you, they may talk about what they have, but if you try to go to courts, they have nothing. And this, our system, the United States system, allows you to do that. So we have to get smart and take advantage of that. You said something about bondage that was so important, man, because when the scripture talks about this lack of knowledge, you know what, bondage at its core level, bondage is when you don't know that you don't know. And
Yeah,
think about that for a
yeah,
second.
that's good. Yeah,
There's things we know, like I know I can't fly a plane. I don't know if you're a pilot, but I can't fly a plane. I know that. So
me
guess what?
neither.
I'm not going to get on a plane and try to fly it. I'm not going to try to fool people and say fast enough. I'm not even going to
Right.
try to do that. I can't. I know that. I
Yeah,
know I can drive a car, so I'm going to get in the car. The point I'm making is there's certain things I know, and certain things I know I don't know. But
yes,
bondage is when you don't know
that you
that you
don't
don't
know.
know. And think about our ancestors. That's what chattel slavery was about. Do you know there were slaves that escaped, and the other slaves would run and tell the master that so and so has attempted an escape? Why? Because they didn't know that you weren't supposed to be slaves. You remember, there's hundreds and thousands of people who grew up with no freedom. They don't even know what freedom was.
Right,
So they didn't know that they didn't know. And
right.
that's why bondage is so bad, man.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you're now. I didn't know you were doing this in the financial arena, man. I applaud you. I mean, you've always been a cutting edge thinker, but that's good. We certainly got to catch up on some stuff. So
Yeah, and I mean, what everything that you're saying, man, I'm just excited over on this side of the studio here, and I again thank you for joining me in the studio today. The system is designed to keep you in bondage,
yeah,
but if you really learn the system, like the
man,
2% group does,
yeah,
you'll make the system work for you.
absolutely,
And sounds like that's what you're doing for people.
yeah,
And I just want to be clear on something that you said. You know, although you offer this the program to churches, anybody can participate in the program, right?
yeah. Anybody can
Get clear
participate.
on it.
Yeah, very clear. Anyone can participate in the program. We do it through churches because that's what I'm called to, and that's what I've done all my adult life. But anyone can participate. The goal of this is churches really should use this as an evangelistic tool because everybody in their community, I don't care what they're going through, everybody's experience some money challenges by and large. So it's a way to help people get out of the bondage that they're in, and the church benefits because the church is going to receive income from it, and the people eventually receive income because of the way we have the program set up.
Okay, so I want to go back to something. So you said that there are it's two-part, 5 programs, 5 sessions that people go through, modules that people go through in the first phase, and then another 5. Can you just kind of go over that? What again? So you said the getting out of debt, helping people.
Yes, you get out of debt, and then you do the credit cleanup. Yep.
Okay.
And then we have a program called the Secrets of the Jews' Wealth. And the reason I put this program in is because
the Secrets of the Jews' Wealth.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, a rabbi friend of mine taught me some things. Actually, the whole blueprint really is put together based on stuff he told me. And their system is incredible, man. We don't have time to get into it, but
they have an infrastructure.
They have an infrastructure.
And they don't need this world's infrastructure.
Not at all.
They don't need the world system.
Not at all. And think about it, man. Think about all the stuff they've gone through as well, the Holocaust and all. And I know, we no one's gone through what our culture has gone through. But think about this, when you in their culture, it is an absolute disgrace, a disgrace for them not to teach their children about financial freedom. In fact, most people say in America, the American dream is do what makes you happy. Do you know what they teach in their culture? You don't do what makes you happy. You look around and see, what do we need? Do we need a laundromat? Do we need a doctor? Do we need a grocery store? What do we need? And if they don't have in their community, and let me tell you, anybody can research this. If they don't have it in their community, they're going to start one, because they don't take their monies out of their communities until it is circulated over and over and over.
That's right.
And then they'll take it out. But nowadays they don't have to, because a lot of them own the banks as well. But the point is, they know how to keep it in their system. And that's the key, to see what's missing. Okay, we're going to start this. And then the thing I love about it, they don't deal with this discount service. Like, hey, brother, with this, hook me up with a discount. No, they're insulted of that. I'm going to pay you exactly what you are asking me, because they look at money as a certificate of appreciation. And they're insulted not to give that money to the people in their community. I didn't know until my Jewish rabbi friend told me this, that even those that work in what we call industries that may be secular, if there's an opening, they always make sure that they tell their people about this first. Their system is together. So
wow.
So we teach that, and then we teach, there's a program that I put together on cryptocurrency, because we have something called the Faith Coin. It's on the blockchain, by the way. I won't get into that all right now, but I did that only because people will see the currency is going to change soon. It'll all be digital pretty soon. Mark my words in this program. There will come a day very soon. The Federal Reserve.
I'll go one further. By 2030.
Listen, I'm going to come into agreement, because if not before, man, I'm telling you, the Feds already have digital. Yeah. So it's going to happen. Part of the pandemic is all that, and the scare and all that. I'm not knocking that, but
all by design. It's all by design.
It's all by design. So pretty soon that'll be in. So the point with the Faith Coin the point with the cryptocurrency course is to teach people, because everything will be digital real soon. Cashless society is on its way. Okay. Anyway, and then from there we go to then you get into the trust. You get into your family trust. You get into your LLCs. So all of these programs we set up. One of the courses, once you get to the Freedom course, is what to do now that you are making a certain number of dollars, because a lot of people don't understand the tax benefits. It's the reason why the people who have more money pay less taxes. So they don't understand what to do. So you give a guy an extra 3,000, extra $5,000 a month. If he doesn't know what to do, not only will he get in trouble with it, he's going to pay more taxes, and it's going to be even worse.
Right.
So we stagger these courses so that as people learn more, they're going to start making more. One, because the program's paying them, but they're going to learn more because they're going to set their own system up. And then by the time they get through all the freedom courses, they'll pretty much have their system set up where they're dealing with their own family trust, their own family banking. They understand those components, why they're important, and why you put them in place.
Okay, so is the family banking that you show them how to do, is that tied to an index insurance, that construct?
So we do share that. Ours is really unique. We share that is the ultimate way they want to set it up. But we have something that we call the Bank of Seven. We also have the Bank of Three. And this is what's so cool about this program, because it's not dependent upon government, it's not dependent upon real estate, cryptocurrency, stock market. We tie it all around our membership. So our membership fees is distributed back into our family banks. And this is how they keep it going. So regardless of what happens in the real estate market, it won't affect our market. That's how we create a sustainable system.
That's good. I hope every leader listening is catching these gems that you're dropping, and you definitely have some secret sauce that many leaders don't have, and they need to know. Wow, time is flying. Time is flying. Time is flying. Man, thank you so much for being on with me. Before we close, I call this part of the show the ABU, Wisdom for Life and Business. Fill in the blank questions and answers. So you can answer with a one-liner or expound on your answer if you like. But it's meant to be fun. And if you want to pass on something, you can say pass. But I won't ask you anything crazy or outrageous. So, first question. For those who want to expand their life, their family, what should they focus on starting right now? What should they focus on?
They want to expand their family and their life, did you say?
Yes, they want to grow or expand, their life or their family. What should they be focusing on right now to grow and develop and produce a new fruit, so to speak?
Yeah, I think the first thing you have to grow, you have to invest in yourself. You gotta come out of the paradigm that because you're gonna stay stuck. You've got to learn more, and so you gotta start digging into areas of information that you're not used to, because if you don't, you're going to just stay stuck. And I think one of the ways that people do this is they have to have mentors, they have to have models, they have to have people that are where they want to go, so they can come out of that. If we're not exposed to it, we'll stay in our community. So we have to get out of that, and I think it's hard to do sometimes. What changed my life is someone who was way above me in terms of my financial situation. And I was able to be mentored by this person, but it gave me another experience. I thought, wow, I kind of like this lifestyle. I kind of like this over here, but I had to be exposed to it. And if you're not exposed to it, you're going to stay stuck.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. As a coach, I teach people that they have to see themselves as their most valuable asset.
Yeah.
And so you have to now invest in your asset. You are the asset.
Beautiful. That's asset. Right.
Yeah. Second question. What do you believe causes people to fail in life or business?
Lying to themselves, lying to oneself.
Woo! Lying to yourself.
Yeah. So we create this false identity that pleases people. We want people to accept it. So we want the group, whatever that is, to to accept us. So
Mm.
we abandon our true self.
My,
And
my.
yeah, and that's the ultimate self-deception. And I know this because of how I grew up. I've seen this in my own life and others. And as I look back, I think that's the number one thing. When you stop lying to yourself, it's not easy because everybody wants to be
Yeah.
accepted. But lying to yourself robs you of your true self. And here's the real problem with all that. Our brain, we start training our brain, and our brain develops these neurological links. My wife's better at this because of her background, but we develop these neurological links where we convince ourselves. And this is weird, man. We convince ourselves that we are this imposter. It's not who we are, but it's the imposter us. It's not the real us. So our brain now is conditioned that this new person is you, but your brain knows you're lying. So when you finally say, I'm going to do
Woo!
it, I'm going to change my life, or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to make money, or I'm going to stick to my marriage, I'm going to grow my ministry. Your mind has already been programmed that you are a liar. So your mind will not release
Mm.
the chemicals that you need to have the desire to change because it knows you're lying. So you make a New Year's resolution or a new goal. I'm gonna get up and lose weight. You won't have the will, the want to. The endorphins won't be released. Why? Because you
Right.
convinced your mind. You programmed yourself that you're a liar. And the biggest deception is now you're lying to yourself, and your mind knows it. So
My,
it's
my, my.
lie mode. That's the biggest destruction. And that we have to stop that so we can have our true identity of who we really are. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's the thing that we all have this sensory focus when you focus on something. Like if you're going to get a new truck, everywhere you go, you see this new truck, right? Or your red car, you see these red cars.
Right.
But that sensory focus only comes based on the true identity. In other words, it's like a thermostat. It's set on
That's
who
it.
you really are. You can't fool that, right?
Right.
So if you lose 30 pounds, a year later you have it back on. Why? Because your identity, the real you, see yourself 30 pounds heavier. So the thermostat always goes back to what it's set on.
Yes.
When you change what it's set on, that's I call that your real identity. You get your real identity back, and then you could go for it. But that sensory focus and the neurological links are always going to go back to that false whoever you are.
Yeah. False narrative.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
I think lying. I think we have to just stop lying to ourselves.
Yeah. That is, woo, that's rich right there. This the world today, when you look at social media,
Everything's a lie. Yeah,
artists, I mean,
yeah,
everything's pushing like these alter egos
yep,
and being something that God did not create you to be.
yep,
And nobody's focused on being a better them or the best version of who
yep,
God created them to be,
yep,
for being so attracted, influenced by everything and everybody else, who are oftentimes, as you said, living a lie themselves,
yep,
that you get entrapped with this spirit as
yep,
well as a mindset that cultivates the
yep.
lie
That's
that,
right.
that you become comfortable with.
Yeah, you're preaching it, man. You're right. You're right.
All
Yeah.
right, all right, all right. We can go forever. Okay, here's the next question. Here's the next question for you. What's the secret ingredient to winning in life or business?
Focus on one thing.
Mm,
Focus on one thing. Yeah. There's so many millions of things that we get all the time. And if you're a pastor or a business leader, whether it's your budgets, your Excel sheets, your personnel, the raising money, there's so many things. And most pastors are like entrepreneurs, not all, but a lot of them, particularly if they start their own church. And I know, especially when you're younger, I know I was this way when I was younger. A lot of inexperienced pastors and experienced business leaders, I see this today, some I coach and talk with, that they don't understand how we all get these ideas, and what robs us of being great with what we're doing is these good ideas. So we're always want to try this and that. I think if I could go back, I would not focus on so many things. I would say, okay, this is what I'm great
I
at.
agree.
this is all I'm going to do. And I think not doing that is what hinders us. So I say, focus on that one thing, and these other things will come. Just put them on the shelf. Put them on the shelf.
Yeah.
And once you do that, I think focus on what you're good at. Then I think what happens, this is another big problem a lot of us have, is you have to know when to bring in the people who are better than you.
That's
what
it.
you do.
Yeah.
And like for a pastor, a CEO, listen, I know some pastors who are great at pastors, but terrible leaders. So
Right.
they have to be humble enough to bring in a leader so they can pastor.
Yes.
You know, and business
I
people
think
that
it's the
way
same for
too.
business as well. Yeah.
A lot of business people, yeah, they're good at making sales, they're good being an entrepreneur, but they're not good at leading a company. And
Right.
and they don't know how to, or they're too inexperienced, they don't want to, cross over. And I think that'll hinder. So I would just say focus on that one thing that you're really good at, and what you're not good at, get people who are good at it to do it.
That's good, man. Woo! Are you guys picking this up? Man, are you guys catching these gems that my brother is dropping? Here's a big one. Here's a big one. Two more and we'll wrap it up. What's been the greatest hurdle that you've had to overcome?
My ego.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, it's not the fight with the enemy. It's the fight with my inner me. That's my fight. And I've learned how to defeat the enemy because Jesus defeated him. I just walk in his word. I got that. My ego's different. And that's the fight that to me is that's the biggest deal that I've had to deal with. And because a lot of times when I fight my ego, like I may be fighting someone else, could be somebody in the staff, but I'm not really fighting them. I've learned over the years, Pastor McFarland, I'm fighting my own ego.
Yeah.
Sometimes something can be right. We could see the stats that say we should do this, but our ego will blind us to it. And I think that will destroy us. So I think
Mm.
it's our own ego. And I think once we move that out of the way, I think we're going to be in a better situation.
That's good. That's rich. The moral of that story is the takeaway is let go of your ego.
That's right.
The commercial said, let go of my ego. Let go of your ego.
That's right.
Man. Okay. What's the greatest thing you've learned on your journey of faith as a leader, father, husband? It's the greatest thing that you've learned.
The greatest thing I've learned is to allow for discomfort, because I think a lot of times to change, we're going to change our patterns. We're going to change a lot of habits that we have. And there's this period, man, where it's so discomfort. We're uncomfortable. I think we have to start teaching people part of walking in faith is this moment where you're uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
when I know for me, it's in that uncomfortable phase that I'm growing, that I'm being stretched. And so I'm a little leery when I go through certain seasons of my life of transformation, this new, better version. And I think we all have this evolution where I growing or we should be. When I'm growing, or when I see, okay, this happened, so now I know I'm becoming a new version. If I don't feel this discomfort or uncomfortable somewhere, then I challenge is that if that's real transformation. Real transformation is going to cause uncomfortableness and discomfort. Sometimes it's just me realizing that, I don't have to fix everything. I don't have to fix everybody. And that's something for leaders, that's difficult, So I think when we start understanding this, it helps us realize that, there's so many things I'm called to do, and I have to be okay with that, and not be intimidated or anything about what you're called to do or somebody else called to do. And I think sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable doing that because of our ego. So, yep.
Yeah. This is good. I mean, as you were sharing, Lord just kind of brought up in my spirit that I think, when you say like really embracing discomfort in some respect,
Yeah.
people don't realize that seeds are developed in the dirt.
Mm.
Seeds are developed in darkness.
Wow.
And will never bloom, will never grow and evolve
Without it.
Yeah. So it's a part of the journey.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's
I love
cool.
it. I love it.
You brought that. It's good. So it's time where you're gonna look dirty, you're gonna look like you messed up, you're gonna look like everything's buried. Doesn't matter. But the seed will burst out of that ground, won't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. I love it, man. Thank you for joining me on A Better You. And we're, of course, if you all want to connect with Dr. McCowan, his information will be in the link below, and we'll make sure that you have access to it. And of course, your reference will be ABU, so that he'll know that you connected through this platform. Again, my brother, thank you so much for joining me on A Better You. And man, God bless you. Continue to be the great man, the great leader, the great husband and father that you are, as you are changing lives, not just by faith, but practical principles that take people from one place to the place they never imagined they could go. Thank you. Appreciate
it. My pleasure. I mean, really mean it. And thank you for all the work you're doing. Really, I'm telling you, man, I meet a lot of people, and some men and pastors, they do great things, but you're a great leader. You're a great pastor. Thank you for that. So good seeing you. God bless you, sir.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Anthony McFarland. Welcome to this awesome platform. It's a community right here where people are gathering. Why? Because I am here to help people and entrepreneurs like yourself become a better you and do better in life with your financial strategies as well as your business endeavors. My assignment is to challenge people to grow, change, evolve into the individuals that God has foreordained for them to be. See, my heart's desire is to see you, the people, win in life and on the mountain that you desire to climb and conquer. Why? Because you've been created to solve a problem in one or two or three areas of this big place called Earth, planet Earth. So in order to be a better you first must know who you are. Why is this so important? See, if you don't know who you are, you won't understand your why. You won't understand your what in life. And that's how a lot of people blow it. They blow their lives. They spend all of their lives searching for purpose when they really don't know who they are. They have not tapped into the treasure, the greatness that's on the inside of them. Here's the truth. Through my success and failures, one of the things I've learned is that you must be intentional about being your authentic self to create your dream future, to fulfill destiny, right? If you want to change your output, you must change your input. Why? You say, why do you say that? Because what goes in goes out. You can't change or break bad habits until you experience an extreme makeover of the mind. And that's why transformation is so important. Personal growth is so important. Business growth is so important, which requires education and information and training. And then, of course, understanding how to create a financial strategy that helps you not only build your life, your family, your business, but generational wealth. Welcome to my station. Click, like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about.
Thank you for tuning into A Better You program with Anthony McFarland.